That looks cool. Wow, that looks so good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the main event. I'm your host, Mike, along with our producer, Russell Wayne. We're here to talk about Detroit Lions football for the next half an hour, and we're all getting excited for this season. Free agency moves. The owners had a spring meeting today, and the Lions actually, Russell Wayne, I don't know if you know this, their proposal was the only resolution passed today, one of the very few resolutions passed today, and that was the ability to suit up a third quarterback, an emergency quarterback who does not count against the active or inactive roster. The only catch is that player has to be on the 53-man roster. So kind of a curveball at you to get things started. Do you know anything about
that? I didn't know about that. I'm locked in the dungeon doing all the editing and everything like that. And sometimes I miss some of the breaking stuff, especially during the off season right now. And, we do understand here at the Main Event 365 that this is a lull of the part of the season right here. And we understand that the casual fan has just kind of picked up and they've left until training camp is over. But what I do understand is the people that are out there listening right now are not casual fans, that these guys are the hardcore fans, and they would actually want to know about a question that would have came from the owners meeting. And I think that's an awesome proposal, especially coming to a spot where we have Nate Sudfeld and then you got a guy like Hendon Hooker that's sitting in the back. And that way you can have all three of those guys available.
Right. I think Christian McCaffrey having to play quarterback last year in the playoffs is what really got this on the table. And it's interesting because it's an emergency quarterback rule. Okay. And it has to be injury or ejection. If your second string quarterback's just playing like crap, you can't bring in your third string quarterback, your emergency quarterback, just to put him in. So you might have to fake an injury or something to be able to go to that third guy, and we'll see how that plays out. But ejection also is the other way that you can bring in your third. It's either injury or ejection, but not too many cases where a quarterback actually gets ejected from the game. Only once in NFL history, in fact.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you want to know this right here, but we do have some Packer fans that are in the chats right now. The only ones, Big Cheese Smalls, NFL draft is in Green Bay in 2025. I didn't know that.
That was the next breaking news I was going to say. Thanks for getting that next topic, and nice segue, Big Cheese.
You like that? Wow. Yeah. Big cheese, cheesy Smalls. I like it.
You know what's really cool is in 2025, the Green Bay Packers will be hosting the draft in Lambeau, and they'll probably have the number one pick.
Oh man, you get a go Pat go from Virginia. Dawn says that we need to find a happy medium between what Green Bay deserves and what Green Bay can afford. Go Pack, go, and and the Bears will definitely need 3 quarterbacks.
It's John Dorn. I'm just so glad he didn't take it out on us today.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah, and we're going to be getting to that when we get into the NFL Huddle, NFC North the Huddle. We have some comments that we're going to be getting to today, and one of them was the fact that maybe Detroit Lion fan is a little overhyping the Detroit Lions this year, and they're kind of giving us some grief for it. I mean, we've never won the NFC North. We haven't won a playoff game since 1991, but somehow this is the year, Mike. Here we go. So I mean, what do you say to somebody? I mean, because we do have confidence. Why? Why do we have confidence?
First of all, we're Lions fans first and foremost. That's why we do this main event here at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. But then at 7, we are really entangled with all 4 teams in the NFC North when we do the NFC North Open Mic, right? So I sympathize a little bit with these Packer, Bears, and Vikings fans because here the Lions fans are puffing out their chest, beating on their chest, have never won a thing, one of the worst franchises in sports history, but it's sobering for these other teams, though. This is what it looks like, folks, when you've been down and there's finally some real light at the end of the tunnel. Right. And we are set up for success, not just this year. Even if we don't do everything the Lions fans say this year, at least this team is built from the inside out, and the contracts aren't killing us. It's been put together smartly to last through the long haul. And any football mind person, I don't care what fan you are, even if you're a Packer fan, a Bear fan, or Viking fan, you can look at it and see that. And I defy you to tell me in a football sense why that isn't true. So, yeah, it is annoying. I can imagine for other fan bases, these Lion fans, we haven't won a thing, and we're already crowning ourselves. In fact, I got into it with a guy on the internet the other day. He kept calling us paper champs, paper champs.
Paper champs.
I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. If it's got champs in it, I'll take it.
I mean, we came from the Patriot way. You remember that? Ooh, the Patriot way. Here comes Matt Patricia. He's gonna bring in that. He's gonna bring all that winning with him. And oh my gosh, we went through that. And you guys are so pathetic because you're really, really happy about a 9-8 season. Yeah, we are. We're happy about a 9-win season because we won 3 games the year before. Like, we're seeing progress for the first time, and puffing our chests out. I mean, I don't know, puffing our chests out. Maybe I am a little bit because I think that this team could be a Super Bowl contending team. I said that, John Dorn, and I know that you're over there, and I'm going to do my John Dorn impression. These guys, the same old Lions, and just throwing a Fields is garbage.
Fields is garbage.
But, I mean, let's go through some of this stuff right here because we were talking about you wanted to make a list, and I think that it's important that we go in and let the fan base decide what's been on this list, the things that we need to knock off the list. Obviously, winning a playoff game is on that list. Winning the NFC North is on that list. Obviously, those are obvious things, but we were talking about how there were some things that this regime, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, has kind of knocked off already in the terms of culture. So maybe we could just kind of go back and forth, and we can allow people in the comments comment what you see as a change in the Detroit Lions, or if it's just the same old Lions right here, like John Dorn says. He says fool's gold Lions. Okay.
Well, I think something that you alluded to there, Russ, is spot on. The winning season. We had a winning season. We won more games than we lost. And that has not happened a lot in our lifetimes, actually. Right. So I think that is one thing that Brad Holmes definitely knocked off the to-do list. Have a winning season. And what would come right next under that? Make the playoffs. Cue Jim Mora.
Right. Man,
No,
yeah. I mean,
it didn't work. Didn't work. Anyway, so playoffs would be the next thing on the list. And then you said after that it would be win the division, win a playoff game. Let's just make the playoffs as next thing on the to-do list. And at the bottom of the to-do list, what's the last thing on the to-do list?
The Super Bowl.
Win another Super Bowl, because my list is
you trying to double down already? Are you?
Yeah, I would double down. That'd be the last thing on the list. So
yeah, don't go LeBron James on us right here and start being like, oh no, 1, champ, 2. Not
so I actually put together some things that might be on Brad Holmes' to-do list if you can just envision Brad Holmes for a minute when he took over, and he makes a to-do list. Number one thing, change the culture. Change that loser mentality that the fan bases carry right into Ford Field with them. All that negative energy. And I think they've definitely done that. And just by us having this conversation about our expectations being high, you can cross that number one off the to-do list.
And this is good. Actually, this is good by John Dorn. Yes, the Lions do need to get double-digit wins back-to-back. But, John...
Or what?
I mean, in order for him to, I'm thinking that it's for him to give us that credibility.
That's all. That's all it'll take for Lex Luthor to actually side with Superman. No way.
Oh no.
If we have back-to-back double-digit win season, John Dorn will find something else.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is we can hold him to that for one because he said it, and it's right here. I got it right there. It's live on the internet, and you can take it. But the other thing being like, John, in order to get double-digit wins back-to-back, you have to win double digits. So I think that's the first goal is to do it once.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back a little bit and knock off some of these things and to remind, and I know that Dorn loves to tell everybody on how awful the franchise has been. And I'm going to double down on that. I'm going to remind everybody some of the things that we had to knock off of this list was beating a team with a winning record at home or away. That was knocked off the list. Right. Beating the Packers at Lambeau was one of those things on the list. Winning a game on the road was on that list. It's been checked off. Winning multiple games on the road in a row was knocked off of that list. Winning 3 in a row on the road was knocked off of that list. So a lot of things that Jared Goff did that Matt Stafford didn't do while he was here. That Stafford never beat teams with winning records. That was something that Campbell, Holmes, and Goff have been able to do. And I'll put all three of them together because it does take all three of them in order for this to happen like that, because I don't think that Goff is the end-all be-all as a quarterback, but I think he's a very, very good quarterback at doing what he does. And he needs those other two guys, but they're there. So that's a lot of stuff. You want to add a couple of that. I mean, we've knocked off some stuff, Mike.
Yeah, we have knocked off some stuff. And one of the biggest, I think, is drafting. The Lions notoriously drafted bad. We would be lucky if one player out of every draft signed a second contract or was any good or made a Pro Bowl. We were lucky if 20% over a 10-year span did anything noteworthy in the league at all. Right. So for the fact that Brad Holmes has crushed the draft for the last, 2 seasons for sure, at least I think the 3 drafts in a row he's crushed. So, I mean, that is one thing that's crossed off the list. Stop drafting poorly. It would be on the to-do list, and I believe Brad Holmes has shattered that and crossed that off the list.
Yep, and with John Dorn's comments right here, John should just come on. You know what? I won't do that.
Well, I think that's one of our That's going to be one of our topics tonight on the open mic.
So when Campbell when's he going to get fired and Ben Johnson is the new coach? I mean, that's an interesting take right there, because Ben Johnson is going to be a head coach in this league, and he turned down being a head coach so he could stay with the Lions because of the culture. When Ben Johnson gets fired, I think that Brad Holmes already has that on lockdown. I mean, they drafted Hendon Hooker. Do you think that Hendon Hooker wants to run the offense, or do you think that Hendon Hooker wants to work with a brand new quarterback that that can kick the franchise, start it over with a brand
I'd
new
like to
offense.
address this one too, Russ. When is Campbell going to get fired? Not for a long time, John Dorn. That man is a star, not just in Detroit, but across the country. People have bought in. People love Dan Campbell. In fact, I even have John Dorn on record saying, I like Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
So trust me, they are not going to get rid of Dan Campbell. Even if the Lions come out and only win 7 or 8 games this year, Dan Campbell's job is still secure. He has a 6-year contract. He's already done more in 3 years than any coach has done in my lifetime.
For one, he owns the Packers. So right. the Packers at best this year can tie Dan Campbell. They're 3-1 versus the Packer, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for the Packers. I know they have a lot of hope, but I mean I can't wait for the season to start, because I mean this was a team that was 8-9 last year with a Hall of Fame quarterback on the roster, and they just seem to think that Jordan Love is just going to take right over and they're not going to miss a beat. And gosh, what are the chances of that happening, Vegas, man? Right. We're so good at gambling. But I mean, I know this is a Lions show, but they're only Packer fans watching it. So no, we do go live into the Detroit Lions news on the weekdays in the mornings, but right now we are in the enemy territory talking Lions, but that's all right. That's all right. Oh, there we go. We got Jeremy Ballrick wants to get in here. You're a Lions fan. I can actually let you in. I'll go ahead and throw the link. I'm going to throw the link into the in there for everybody. We're actually going to be starting in 10 minutes with the NFC North Open Mic. So what we need you to do is we need to take your feelings and we need you to put them into a box. And we need to take that box and you need to put it up high on a shelf. And then you need to go into a different room and then watch the NFC North Open Mic, because I wouldn't want your feelings to get in the way when we trash your team. So
can you put up that comment from one of the groups where they were talking about the crying coach going to get fired?
Oh, okay.
Over the gambling and all that. That kind of relates to what John Dorn is saying here about Dan Campbell being on a hot seat of some sort, which is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous.
That's not what we were looking for. Let me go find this thing. Yeah, give me your take on that, though, man.
Yeah, it was a guy. He was in one of these groups there, and he said that Dan Campbell's lost control of the team because of these gamblers, this gambling scandal. And obviously, it's a black eye for the Detroit Lions, and it gives the other fan bases a chance to take a dig at us. I get it. But we didn't really lose anything in it. We lose Jameson Williams for 6 games. That's really the only penalty that's going to hurt us. CJ Moore in the return game might hurt a little bit. But all in all, I think it's far from Dan Campbell losing control of the team over something that's probably going on in every locker room across the league. And we're pleased to bring to the show from the Smoking Bee, Biting Kneecaps with Smoking Jeremy B. It's Jeremy Ballright. How are you, Jeremy?
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he gets it up
How
over
is
your
everybody
face
doing? That's great. That's great. Speaking on to what you just said, the NFL is just relaunching another investigation because there is allegations that many players across the league are using like their family members' names to be able to gamble on NFL games. So that being said, that means there's more suspensions and permanent suspensions to come.
How sad is that, Jeremy? I mean, honestly, like what we're doing here, it's like it's so upsetting to me, just because is gambling really in danger of like really doing something bad to?
Of course.
I mean, it's
of
just,
course.
I hate it. I mean, I don't like this part of it, man. Like it's.
You shouldn't be allowed to bet at all if you're. I know it's not even against the law for them to bet on a horse race when they're a football player, but as a professional athlete, they shouldn't even be messing with it. You should not be allowed. I agree.
In response to this, when you have player personnel and player assistant coaches, when I'm talking about the lower levels, not the main guys, not like the actual wide receivers coach or the DB's coach or the QB coach, I'm talking about those player assistants. The ones that fetch them their coffee or their towel or their drink. after they get wore out at practice. And the towel boy, of course, that sits outside the shower room, who's probably in the closet anyways. That being said, those are the guys that got fired from the job because they were the ones that started the investigation into the Lions in the first place. But the Lions were not the only ones who had suspensions given. And that's what everybody's just focusing on, the 5 Lions players.
No, I did hear that it had come out today that there's going to be another scandal coming, that they've got a lot of dirt, and they were able to keep the one quiet about the Lions until they were ready to hand out punishment. No one knew about this. So I think there could be a big thing brewing, like you say, Jeremy, and that we're going to see other teams involved in this as well. And then all us Lions fans will be able to turn it back around on them. So right. I like that call out.
That being said, everybody says Campbell's a fraud, but he's 3-1 versus Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, I mean, this is a ridiculous thing. That's what we want to be able to do here. If you see a ridiculous take in one of our groups, like NFC North The Huddle or NFC North Open Mic, and you see ridiculous crap like this, we want to put this on blast. This is absolutely ridiculous. How does he still have a job? It's because he's been beating the shit out of teams that have been beating the shit out of us. That's how he has a job, because he's a good coach and he's winning games.
Right.
That's why.
How does this guy still have a job? I think this guy's a Packer fan as well.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, how does he still have a job? Because he keeps beating the Packers, you dumbass. That's how.
I mean, what? We've split with Minnesota. We're 3-1 versus Chicago right now, and we're 3-1 versus the Pack. In the last 2 years, there is not another team in the division that has a better record than the Lions the last 2 years in the division.
Yeah, and we got a lot better. Our team is the same. That's the other thing that people don't get. It's like, you want Bear fan? I'm just going to be real with you right here. You got a lot of good players that are on your team now, right? Guys that have never played with each other before are on your team, and maybe they can be good together. Maybe they won't be good together. But the Lions have a 9-8 team that the weakest part of their team was completely replaced. That pass rush was still sacking the quarterback like crazy, led the NFL rookies ever, most sacks ever in NFL history.
Hey, John Dorn. Last year, Campbell still had a better record than Matt LaFleur in the division and overall. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, okay, John Dorn. What is Dan Campbell's record versus the Packers? 3-1. 3-1 versus the Packers. LaFleur has to answer the questions. You need to ask your coach why he can't beat the Lions anymore, John Dorn.
Yeah, John Dorn, that's 12 wins and 1 tie.
Yeah.
Your division record won't last long. No, it's going to last. It's going to be 6-0 this year. There isn't a team.
Just said it. There it is.
I can't even hold it back anymore. There isn't a team in this division that is going to be able to stand up to the power that we have on both of the offensive and the defensive lines. We don't have to answer questions anymore. What are you going to do about Frank Ragnow? What are you going to do about Penei Sewell? They're coming downhill now. And what are you going to do about a running back that led the league in broken tackles? He ain't going to be breaking that tackle 3 yards in the backfield because he has a dog shit offensive line like the Chicago Bears does. He's going to be running behind one of the best offensive line, and he's going to be breaking that tackle 3 yards down the field. So what is that going to mean? That means that David Montgomery might eat this year.
Right. And when they bring in the change of pace back, it's the fastest guy in the league, by the way.
I won't quite go that far, but he's pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. The fastest guy in the league's our receiver, Jameson Williams. My bad.
Yeah. And then he's going to come back after, placing his bets and week 7. And you're still, no matter what you say, all that smack talking you guys want to do out there, that's fine. But still, week 7's going to come and you're going to have to deal with that speed.
Hey, congratulations to Minneapolis, Minnesota, saying exactly what he said, backing up the statement that I said. They say a second wave of violations is coming for way more teams.
Yeah,
and it's true. I seen it on CBS Sports. I seen it on the NFL Network. I seen it on ESPN, and even
Lester Price, dude, that's twice that you've come in there. You can talk smack from out there, but right there, the link's in there.
If he
Mike
carries
won't get
wait,
30 yards
Lester
versus
Price,
Chicago.
We got three
Lester Price,
minutes. We might as well.
I'll bet a 50 spot right now if he touches the
let's
ball on a
keep it
carry.
out,
If he
Yeah.
no, I want to say it right now. If he touches the ball 6 times in the first game because we have 4.8 yards before he gets touched, he'll have 30 yards in those first 6 touches.
Yeah, we don't need to have Lester Price agreeing with us. Lester Price can wait until the season starts, just like everybody else. And
I want him to put money on
We're
it.
gonna see this.
Well,
Well,
or he could head over to the NFC Open Mic night. Could head over to the NFC Open Mic night like we're about to do.
He's driving right
Let's do
now. Let's do that. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to run this other intro. Is there any parting shots you want to give to for the end of the Lions portion of this show?
Sure.
No, I don't think so. I would like you, though, to put into your comments, guys, if you're a Lions fan, because this is our half-hour Lions show. We're building a Brad Holmes to-do list. What did Brad Holmes put on his to-do list when he took over? And we're going to try to assemble that list and cross things off as they get done, with winning a Super Bowl as the last thing on the list. We want to hear your comments. Check us out. Follow us on Facebook. Go over to our YouTube and please subscribe at The Main Event 365. For Russell Wayne and Jeremy B, I'm Main Event Mike, saying God bless each and every one of you. Peace out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey.
Oh, we're still going in there. I'm sorry about that. Let me get some of this. There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't want to go that far back. Watch what we can do here. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, we can cheat. This is the main event. We don't even have to be good at it.
Why not?
I can't believe we're going to break the Quay Walker today.
Oh my gosh, I can't get this thing right. I'm going to do it again.
What a great run that was. Tight end 1 right there.
That's right. Look at that.
Tight end 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Tight end 4.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all. And this is my favorite part of the time right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a man that needs an introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main stage right here. It is the master of disaster. It is the king of sting, the Count of Monte Frisco, a man who needs no introduction. At the Golden Corral, main event, Mike.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NFC North Open Mic night. A man who needs no introduction at the Golden Corral. What the heck? Lost 4 pounds, I'll have you know. Thank you for that introduction, our illustrious producer, the maestro, Mr. Russell Wayne. This is the NFC North Open Mic night presented by the Main Event. All 4 fan bases of the NFC North are represented here today, and we have Bears fans and an overload of Lions fans, but don't worry, it'll even out here real soon. The Vikings fans, however, we believe are in witness protection. Somebody needs to call John Walsh because these kids are missing. They're missing. I can't find these Viking fans anywhere.
Or is
I
it
think
wet
they
list
know their
protection?
season, their season coming up is in jeopardy, and they are not here. But we do have Smoking Jeremy B from Kneecap Biters Group. How are you, Smoking Jeremy B?
Fantastic.
And you're still writing for the South Florida Tribune as well, isn't that right?
I write for the South Florida Tribune. Starting this week on Friday, I get to interview former NFL players on Let's Talk Sports Network. After I get done here, I go.
Okay, moving on. We've also got Russell Wayne on the program today. How are you, Russell? How are you, producer?
I'm doing great. Wait, look, we got Chad's on too, man. We might have our whole crew going in there. Look at that, Chad.
Oh, another
Chad.
Lions fan? We
Wait.
need to get some other fan bases in
Hey.
here. How are you, Chad?
Where's my introduction, man? Where's my introduction?
I can't see your face.
Don't
man.
interrupt
Sorry.
my introduction. Do not interrupt my introduction.
Chad,
Thank
are you growing a mustache?
Not really.
Chad, are you a Bear
That's
fan?
why you don't get an introduction. You got
Okay,
it.
also
My
joining
comment
us
to you.
Face.
Hey,
Where's your
is
face
Minneapolis,
at?
Minnesota. It's our Minnesota Vikings fan. Finally, we found one. It's our good friend Jamez. How are you, Jamez?
Oh man, you know I'm not ducking nothing, man. Hey, why y'all do Chad like that, man?
Thank God Jamal's here because I was going to come in as a Viking fan today and say
Oh, yeah.
how they shit the bed.
It is
No.
Mike. I recognized the voice, but I didn't see a face. I didn't know who it was.
Hey, I
What's
just got
going
off work.
All right. All
All
right. Well,
right.
welcome all to the program. It's so great to have you there. And if you're out there watching, be sure to put your comment in down below. Put in your comments. We will kick it around the panel. Hey, we got a Packer fan. We have all four fan bases represented now. John Dorn, welcome to the program. How are you?
How's it going, man? How's it going, guys?
Good. No one really cares, John. Thanks for being here.
Well, how's it still be the same old?
Our first, now that we got John Dorn on, I want to tell you our first topic today, guys. If you guys remember, Week 18 was a very topsy-turvy week in the NFL. So many big things happened. Lovie Smith won a game and screwed his team on the way out the door, which gave the Bears the #1 pick. The Seahawks won and eliminated the Lions from the playoffs. The Lions beat the Packers and eliminated. I mean, what a great historic week. There were so many other storylines as well. But one big storyline was in Lambeau, the Detroit Lions upset the Green Bay Packers, kept them out of the playoffs, and secured a winning record. And their rookie linebacker, Quay Walker, was ejected from the game. And a main event exclusive right here tonight. We have a main event exclusive. There was a hot microphone in the tunnel. And we have captured that audio, never before played for anyone else on the internet. Right here, Russ, roll that footage of the open mic from the tunnel and from Lambeau Field.
Are you serious, man?
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
Shocking footage.
Don't you wish you had a fucking player like that?
We
Yeah,
can't
I
lose
do.
to that
I wish I had
team.
a guy would shove a 140-pound trainer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe he should have been shot first. He did exactly what I would have done.
John, what do you say about that, John Dorn? What do you got to say about that breaking news?
I would have shoved the son of a bitch too. Shove me, I'm going to shove him back. There's no reason to shove him. There's two
He
guys
didn't
on the
shove
guy.
him. He put his
He had
hand
no
on him and
reason
said,
to fucking
"Excuse
shove
me."
him.
He said, "Excuse me." You can read his lips, John. He said, "Excuse me."
He shoved him. He
Good
shoved him
God.
back. You don't like it? Kiss my ass.
Mike the Bear fan, good to see you, sir. You're looking good. I love your new background. The mustache is rocking. It's an 8 out of 10 scale today. How's it going?
Good. Like I said, I work late, so I don't have any of my gear on, but I had to come listen to you guys. You know?
Well, we appreciate you being here. We really do, Mike. So Quay Walker will be a beast in 2023. It says in the comments. Hey, I'm not taking it away. The kid played great. I remember on draft day, everybody trashed the pick. Everybody said that the Packers reached on the pick, but the kid played lights out all year, I thought, and it's just nice to poke fun at that. The Packers losing to the Lions doesn't happen every year, so it has the last two. Okay, moving on. I want to talk about Jim Brown. Passed away this week. Inarguably one of the greatest football players that has ever put on a pair of cleats. He overcame so much, and all of us here at the main event pass on our rest in peace and condolences to the Brown family and the whole Cleveland Browns family. He was certainly an icon. I think if you're going to make a Mount Rushmore of running backs in the NFL history, Jim Brown, activist, actor, but also one of the greatest running backs of all time. Jeremy Ballreich, we'll start with you. Do you think Jim Brown's on the Mount Rushmore of running backs?
Yes, it's Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Eric Dickerson, because I can't put Emmett up there.
And I love that, because all I've been hearing all day is those three, and then that fourth one is always someone different. Jamez, who's on your Mount Rushmore of running backs?
I can't lie, bro. I might change Dickerson, but I've got those first three as well. But I ain't gonna lie, man. You guys might call me biased. I've got Adrian Peterson in that fourth spot.
I think that's not biased. That's absolutely freaking legit. Mike, the Bear fan, who's on your Mount Rushmore of running backs?
Oh, I believe Jeremy pretty much said mine as well. You know, Barry, Walter, Jim Brown. That four spot's up in limbo. There's been a lot of, in my view, there's a lot of good backs out there.
Sure, but he said Eric Dickerson. Is that who you're going to put out there? I mean, there's Dalvin, there's Tomlinson, right? There's LaDainian Tomlinson. There's Emmitt Smith, obviously.
If I'd have to take a stab at it, it'd be like a Sayers.
Yeah.
All right. I got to come in here. I was just in the background, but if nobody's going to mention him, Marshall Faulk has to be put into this.
Exactly. Come on. I'd rather be Dickless. I'm putting Marshall Faulk in. I'd rather be Dickless. Get Eric Dickerson out of there.
You'd rather be what?
I'd rather be Dickless.
All right. Chad, I need to help you right here. Don't say the word dickless while I'm on the screen ever again, okay? That's like you can wait. You can wait, and then you can have your take right there. But yes, I think that Marshall Faulk, I mean, is a dual threat back. I mean, Roger Craig being the first guy that really kind of and by like, oh my gosh, there's a running back that's catching the ball lots out of the backfield.
If I had chances to watch any of those guys again, it'd be Barry Sanders. That guy had the moves, man. I mean,
John Dorn, who would you put up there though with Jim Brown, and Barry Sanders, and Walter Payton? I think we can all agree that those three would definitely belong.
I agree with that.
And then we had one of our commenters say Franco Harris. I think that's a legit for fourth too.
Legit.
I mean, that's legit. I also think Tony Dorsett could get mentioned there. As much as I hated the Cowboys, man, was he a fluid runner. O.J. Simpson, for sure, would be in that conversation. I guess it just comes down to vanilla or strawberry. What kind of ice cream do you like? Who that fourth person's going to be. So,
there you go.
Rest in peace, Jim. One thing about Jim Brown, though, Jim Brown didn't get into these conversations sometimes.
There, but he didn't do it long enough.
Who, Jim Brown?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I think he's
Jim
talking
Brown,
about Bo
9
Jackson.
seasons. He only played 9 seasons. He averaged over 100 yards a game for his career, which is amazing. 3-time MVP, world champion. He cut his career short because he was such a well-rounded human being as well, that football, he realized that there were bigger things in life than football, and he pursued them, and he was a great human being in that respect. Everything, he brought LA gangs together, the Crips and the Bloods, and he did a lot for civil rights and human relations, and he went to bat for African Americans. And it's just a beautiful thing. And when they asked him, why are you quitting football? He said, what would you rather do? Go in there and get beat up once a week, or do a love scene with Raquel Welch? So he was also an intelligent man. And the world will miss Jim Brown, and he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of running backs. Put it in the comments who you think number 4 should be on that list. We're going to move on to our next topic, which is for Jamez, because it involves your Minnesota Vikings, Jamez. One of the guys in the groups, his name's Tom Novans. He's a friend of the show, and he's really pretty sharp. He puts up a lot of good posts. He put up a post this week saying that Brian Flores is overhyped because his defenses, when he was at Miami and such, that they were they didn't finish that well ranked. And sometimes there was teams that he would lead that the defense would take a step back. So all this stock that's being put in that the Vikings are going to be better on defense this year because of Brian Flores is a bunch of bunk. And I want Jamez to respond to that. Russ, if you could find that and put that up for our viewers.
I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, Tom Novus. That's Huber. Yeah, that's me and him have. I've known him for about a good 4 years now. I've seen a lot of takes of his, and this is where he doesn't really have a point. Now, first off, the numbers that he has on that post are incorrect. Now I'm going to skip past that. But you got to think the thing about Brian Flores, bro. He that team that he brought to 9-7 the year he got fired unjustly, bro. They weren't that good of a team, and he might not have a straight just defensive coordinator experience, but bro, he was the line. I like to believe if he's made it to the point where he's a head coach, that he at least he's well rounded with offense, defense, and special teams, all of it together. You know what I'm saying? So now he has a point where if he's saying that Brian Flores is just going to change the defense by himself, because I don't care who you have as defensive coordinator, you still got to have your system still has to work and the players still have to go for it, man. This shit still has to work. But I just believe now if we were hiring him as the 15th ranked defense, I would have given him a point. But hiring him as the 31st ranked defense, I think this shit we can only really go up from here, man. Tom Novus, that's going to leave me that he didn't want to put no money on that one. I'm telling you, man, Brian Flores, he's the real deal, man. There's no overhype about him.
So he's not. So to answer the question, he's not overhyped, in your opinion. All right. Well, Chad, looks like you're chomping at the bit. Chad, you got something on this one?
No, I just had to pee, but no, Brian Flores isn't overhyped. He's not. Look what he had to work with when he was with Miami, right? He's not overhyped. He knows what.
Who has he got to work with with the Vikings? He got nobody.
Hold up, John. Hold up. Well, you're next.
I don't believe he's overhyped. I believe that you put him on San Francisco, then they're even more dangerous. No, I think
that's a good take.
He knows exactly what he's doing. You just have to give him the pieces to work with, and you have to give him the ability to be able to put his scheme in.
Okay. I like that take. Thank you. John Dorn, what was you saying about it? Come on, is he overhyped, John?
Well, I don't think he's really overhyped, but who's he got to work with with the Vikings? The Vikings got shit right now. They got rid of everybody. They don't got no pass rush no more, but you got Hunter to trade him now. You got no money to go.
They got rid of Zadarius Smith and Patrick Peterson and Eric Kendricks. They've lost all their good players, but yet somehow Vikings fans seem to think Brian Flores is going to save them. And I'm saying, are you calling BS on that?
Choose your answer wisely.
He's throwing it at you. He's going to use that.
All right.
All right,
let's move on. Let's kick this last question over to this for one. We'll do one more here. Jeremy Ballwright, what do you think about Brian Flores? You were shaking your head no when we were asking Jamez.
Ken Doby just hit in too.
He's not overhyped. As a defensive coordinator, the DVOA numbers were much better. When you're the head coach, you have a lot more to worry about than just the defense. It may be your scheme you give the defensive coordinator, but he still has to put it together, and the GM still has to get you the pieces to make that defense work. Yep. The only thing they had then was Xavier Rhodes, which basically cut off half the field. And still, they managed to make the playoffs, and they managed to embarrass Lamar Jackson the one night with the zero blitz scheme.
Hey, Jeremy, can I ask you a question? Just pretend like the fan base doesn't know anything about DVOA. What is DVOA so they can know?
Basically, all the stats that says whether a defense is good or not. As a DC, his numbers were great. He placed way up higher in the rankings than what he did as a head coach. As a head coach, it depends on what talent you have on your team, not what you are coaching individually.
All right. Well, we'd like to welcome to the panel one of our regular guests, our good friend, our Chicago Bear friend. It's Bear Down, Ken Doby. How are you? Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Hope everyone's
good. Welcome to the show. Looks like someone puked on your hat.
There's a straight lines on it? No.
Look like a toilet seat on your head.
Well, so we're talking about Brian Flores being the new defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Is this a big deal, or is he being overhyped?
I think it just distracts from their other issues. I mean,
Yeah.
you bring in a new DC that kind of distracts from their personnel issues. But I kind of agree that you have to have the personnel, but also if you have the right coach, then you can coach up some of your lacking personnel issues.
Sure.
So,
Yes, you can.
you can if you have the right coach, they can scheme around the lack of personnel.
Right.
They can, if you got a good coach, they'll use the abilities of what you've got best. So I won't say it's overhype. I'll say it's a good distraction maybe for the other issues they have. And, Flores has had some success in the past. And maybe he'll bring out the best in what little they've got left. So I wouldn't call it overhype. I would just call it what it
I'll
is.
buy that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got some facts for you guys. Brian Flores has never been a defensive coordinator. Okay. He's never held the title of defensive coordinator.
Nope.
But Brian Flores did work for Bill Belichick for 8 years as a defensive assistant coach, coaching multiple units. He coached multiple units across the defense. He won multiple Super Bowls as part of Bill Belichick's staff. And in 2018, when he was the linebackers coach in New England, he was the primary play caller on the defense that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like somebody alluded to on this panel, when he did take over as head coach of the Miami Dolphins, they were 1-6, and he ended up 9-8 and got fired. So this guy can motivate men. This guy can motivate men. He can coach up bad players, like Ken said. He can bring the most out of people. So I do not think that this is being overhyped, and I'm going to have to disagree with Tom Novins on this one. I think it is a big deal. You already had the worst defense in the league, damn near, in Minnesota last year, and you're losing all this talent. I think this is the best hire that Kwesi has ever made. Was hiring Brian Flores as defensive coordinator.
What was that thing he was suing the NFL for? What was that all about again?
Collusion.
I can't remember.
Because
I think
it's
called racial discrimination, John.
The owner,
I know it's something like that.
Yeah, the owner was offering him $100K to tank a game.
I remember that. Okay, no, okay.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Discrimination and collusion. Because
the collusion. But Brian Flores is not complicit in that, though. Brian Flores is the plaintiff, and he is the plaintiff in that case, John, that he was racially discriminated against. And it all stems from Tom Brady and Sean Payton and Timothy Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, colluding to bring Tom Brady and Sean Payton together in Miami. This is why the Miami Dolphins lost their draft pick in the 2023.
Yeah, I remember that. No,
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
They were colluding to bring Tom Brady and Sean Payton together in Miami, and Brian Flores was canned. He was collateral damage, and he won so many games down the stretch that you couldn't justify firing this guy the way the players were believing in him, the fans were believing in him. It was the worst case scenario for the Dolphins owner that they just kept winning games down the stretch, and the whole thing blew up in their face. And I'm really glad to see that Mike Tomlin gave Brian Flores a job, and now the Minnesota Vikings have given him a job, and someday we're going to see him as a head coach. I promise you.
Well, Mike, there's a second part to the collusion part. The other part of the lawsuit for collusion was then he interviewed for the New York Giants position, and that's where you had the Belichick mistweet.
Oh, yeah.
To him. So he was saying that the NFL owners or GMs were colluding not to hire him because he was a black coach. Well, his collusion case is kind of going out the door because now he's gotten the second job in a row.
Right.
So that was the other part about the collusion was that, he couldn't get a job because of his skin color. And I don't think anyone really cares. It's like if you can coach, you'll get hired. It's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you can coach. Lovie Smith.
You can miss me with that. I don't know what world you live in, my friend, but that is just not the case. Okay, maybe someday we'll get to that utopian world you just described, but that's not the world we live in.
Well, how else do you explain Lovie Smith getting hired again and again? Because Lovie Smith has never been a good head coach. He's a good coordinator.
Maybe he interviews well. Maybe he gets in there and he interviews. What are you saying? Are you saying that Lovie Smith is only hired because of the color of his skin?
He's hired because he's a good defensive coach who has zero offensive coaching ability. He very rarely hires a good OC.
Wait, are you suggesting though that he's only been hired because of the color?
No,
because
I'm
he's
saying
black.
his color doesn't make a difference. You get hired because you can coach. So the fact that Flores is black means nothing. It's like whether he can coach and then whether he get. Now here's the part where he gets himself in trouble. When he goes out and you speak out against ownership very publicly in the press, other owners don't like that. I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever your color is. When you go out and you speak out against ownership, other owners are less likely
I
to
agree with
hire
that.
you.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, anybody knows.
Go ahead,
I see where Ken's going with this. He's saying basically, due to the fact that he continued to get jobs, you got to think anybody. We know this. If you go against the NFL, man, you're fighting a real huge goddamn uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? They got lawyers that are ready for this shit. Not even Tom Brady could win against them motherfuckers.
Yeah. His color is irrelevant.
Flores is the culture changer, okay? He's going to change the culture. As we all know, it doesn't happen overnight. Flores is going to come in, and he's going to change the culture of the Minnesota Vikings defense, and you watch.
The only color the NFL cares about is green.
Yep.
There you go.
Only color.
Amen.
That's
ding,
true.
ding, ding.
Yep.
Good take. Good take so far.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
Go ahead, Chad. Finish your thought.
You know, well, like you said, the only color that the NFL cares about is green, and that is the honest truth. All they care about is money. I mean, why are they hyping the Lions up so much? Well, guess what? We have the draft next year. They want this hype. Guess what? We wiped out Green Bay at the last game. That they put us on the prime time. We went 8-2.
Yeah.
They're all about the money. They're all about the advertisement. Oh, America's new team, the Detroit Lions. I don't see it that way.
Does anybody really think that the Lions are coincidence?
They're going to capitalize on any chance they have to get the views.
All right, Chad. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a great take.
Oh no, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just saying, does anybody really believe that's coincidence that the Lions are starting off the damn season versus the fucking Super Bowl champs? That's just not by coincidence, man. If you look at these scheduled, just the Thanksgiving games, how they got Minnesota playing Detroit towards the ends of the season, and they're making us wait. They're setting this shit up for a specific way for this shit, so they know people are going to tune in, man. A lot of these games are high flying.
So that's a good call.
So Jamez, you got teed up right here, because I was trying to change the subject when it got weird there for a second right here. But losing Dalvin Cook, and since I have you on here, it's looking like you guys are going to lose Dalvin Cook. You guys are going to release him post June 1st, which is going to save you $9 million against the cap. But are you guys underselling this? Are you guys underselling the fact that you're going to lose your at least number 2 on your offensive playmaker that on your team?
I mean, I think some people are underselling it, and I think some people are overselling it. Now, I'm going to be the first to let it be known that we're not somehow getting better losing Dalvin Cook. A lot of Vikings fans can get that out of their minds. But to just think that he erasing him from the offense just means we're just going from the 6th rank down to 16th. I don't believe that, man. I believe he's a top 5 running back, and what he poses. Good thing about having Dalvin Cook on the offense is that he has to be accounted for, man. When the defense, when they make their game plan for that Sunday, when they make their game plan for that Sunday, he has to be accounted for in that. But the way I've seen the league change, boy, and the way I've seen with Kansas City and Philly and some of these other teams, man, I just think if we go running back by committee, I think it'll work better for us in the long run, especially with what we have to throw to. Now, if we didn't have, a Hockenson, Jefferson, and, hopefully Addison pans out, from picks off where he was from college, and KJ Osborne. If now we weren't that strapped, I would feel way more different about it. I'd be saying, you motherfuckers better do everything in your power to keep Dalvin Cook, and even if he doesn't take the pay cut. But I believe, and I believe also, and I'm going to just, because I pay attention to the team, we got some nice running backs behind them over here, man. None of them are on Dalvin Cook's level, but if you pair them together and if they go 1, 2, 3 action, we might still have some here.
No. Now,
I know three teams in the North that need a running back, okay? The Bears, the Packers, and now the Vikings. 3 teams in the North need a running back. Well, I just don't have to worry about that.
We need a running back. We need a running back. Packers.
Okay, Chad.
I love how he threw the Packers in that.
Get him going. Get him going, boy.
I gotta challenge that because when you go and you play the Minnesota Vikings, you have to account for Dalvin Cook. You have to be like, I need to know where this guy is 100% of the time, right? That is Dalvin Cook, right? That is Justin Jefferson, man. You got to look and you got to find out where these guys. Ain't nobody going to be scheming Alexander Madison.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Russell?
Well, they can go ahead and scheme him, but what they're going to be doing is they're going to say, run the ball. Go ahead. Alexander Madison.
Yards per carry, Jamez. That's why nobody. That's how we know.
Alexander Madison is going to get his shot. That's what I'm saying, Jamez. He is going to get his shot because nobody is going to be scheming him. They are going to use those resources to cover Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, and they're going to dare that team to run. And I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that good.
Russell, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. He's better than Montgomery, man. He's a better running back than David Montgomery, dude. You guys got to get off the line, man. David Montgomery's not that good, man. He's not. I'm trying to.
Personal foul.
David Montgomery's not that good, man. I'm sorry to tell you guys that.
Hey, no, say all that. Everything.
I'm trying to save you guys from having a bad take here, bro. Alexander Madison, if it weren't now, Montgomery's going to do decent because of the offensive line you got, but dude, he's not an every down back, man.
No. Wait. That is not what I want to hear. That is not what I want to hear. You said something when everybody was talking over you.
He runs like a turtle, I think.
Shut up for a second. I want to ask this question. Jamez. Okay, do I have your attention? Right?
I'm listening.
Jamez. So what I want to know is, did you say that Alexander Madison is a better running back than Dalvin Cook or than David Montgomery?
I said he's better than David Montgomery, dude. Almost every running back in this division is better than David Montgomery, man. I don't understand why you guys don't get that. Jahmyr Gibbs is better than David Montgomery.
So Jamal Williams is better than David Montgomery.
Jamal Williams was better than David Montgomery. Yes, he was.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted. I got what I wanted. That's cool.
Russell, I got a question to ask. Is Chad perusing the 8 Mile for that cheap drug? Because he must be 8 Mile looking for that crack. John Dorn's about to love me here because I can't believe I'm about to say this. But Chad, you're smoking something. I don't care what kind of rock you're scoring. Put it away because even the Packers have a good run game. The entire NFC North has a pretty good run game from top to bottom.
And I was glad he threw the Packers in there.
Except for the Vikings.
If the Vikings lose Dalvin Cook, does that hurt their run game? Well, if you take Russell's argument that on face value, it does. Until they do what Russell says. Teams dare them, and then they punch people in the face, and they show them without Dalvin Cook, they can. Yeah. And if they
definitely have to be proven,
then all 4 teams in this division, you can say, have good run teams, because if you look at what this division did last year, it was all running. It was the Bears, it was running. The Packers, it was running. With the Lions,
I think the Minnesota Vikings dropped the ball when they drafted a wide receiver with their first pick. They had so many needs on defense. They absolutely should have addressed their defense with that pick. Instead, they're stuck with Madison, Addison, and an offense that's going to be Addison. So
you crazy as hell. You know damn well. You ain't gonna think that when Addison's offensive rookie of the year on your ass.
No, okay.
Hey, I like it that you got.
Why are you getting a new quarterback?
I want to hear. I mean, we got
ball. Need 8 yards and throw 3.
You guys don't know anything about football. We're going to talk to a man now who has the word ball in his name, Jeremy Ballwright.
That being said, Alexander Madison is a decent running back, but to say he's better than Montgomery ran behind a shit O-line and still averaged 800 yards per year. Yeah. I think you're smoking some type of rock. And it isn't gravel. Wow. It isn't quartz.
800 yards per year. 800 yards per year isn't that good, man.
800 yards behind no O-line is good. You're also talking about the guy that had the most missed tackles in a season.
Yeah. Jamez only smokes.
Dalvin Cook didn't have a run. It didn't have an O-line for a few years.
Fox Sports is always.
You are watching the NFC North Open Mic Night. Be sure to put your comments in and let us panel of knuckleheads kick your question around. If you've got something to say, be sure to say it. And come. You don't have to worry about your takes, sucking. We already know your take sucks. So just go ahead and put your take in there, and we'll kick it around. Be sure to follow our page and head over to our YouTube channel, and please subscribe to our YouTube. That's the fuel that makes this thing go. Our good friend Greg Rice says, "Blasphemy! Tell Jamez I'm suing him." He's saying that because you're saying
Montgomery's not that good, man.
Madison's a better back than David Montgomery. And
He
it's
is,
going
he
to be
is.
very interesting to see what happens.
Hey, me and Tom Novins got a bet going right now. He pretty much pressured me into it, but he said we got so basically out of Madison. If this is all if Dalvin Cook is not the starter, it's no. If he's the starter, we're throwing it out. But if Madison's the starter for the Vikings this year, me and Novins got I think it was $50 or $100, one of the two. That whoever wins 2 out of the 3 before yards, touchdowns, and receiving yards wins that bet. And I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Hey, Mike.
It's Madison. It's Madison and who? Montgomery?
Madison versus Montgomery, and whoever wins the best 2 out of 3 of those stats.
And that's with Melvin, Detroit Jesus.
No, that's with Tom Novins.
Oh, that's what Tom Novins. All right, well, we're going to track that wager here on the main event. We're going to track that wager here on the main event. Well, all right, Ken, did you have something to add there?
Hey, so yeah.
I already know you do, Ken, so do it.
Here's the question. The rest of the NFC North seems to be building their offense by running to open up the pass game. So I know we've all been giving Detroit a hard time about not drafting defense, about drafting another receiver. Could it be that maybe Detroit is going, well, okay, you all can run to pass. We're going to pass to run. That maybe they're thinking with
you're saying Detroit, but you're meaning Minnesota, right?
I think you mean Minnesota.
Minnesota's thinking might be we're gonna blow it up in the air, and then because we're blowing it up in the air, that's going to create running for our offense.
Sure, why not? When you've got the best receiver in the league, not just in the division, but Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, is the best receiver in the NFL. So that's not such a bad plan. The pass opens up the run. And when you've got a career backup starting at running back, you're going to need some sort of plan.
But one thing about it, in this division alone, we got some pretty good secondaries in this division. So,
but if the running backs in the secondary, we're good. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, Jamez, I got a question for you. How many primetime games do Minnesota have this year?
Last time I checked, I think it was 5.
They got 3.
Well, there's 5 losses.
No, that's about 3 or 4 wins.
Well, Jamez is one tough cookie, guys. I don't know if you know this. We could all gang up on Jamez and run his Vikings into the ground.
If you count
he will hang tough. Trust me, Russell Wayne. I know you love trashing the Vikings. Throw something at him.
Well, actually, I have to move on because this is a unbiased type of show, and
one thing about
Tom Novins actually brought something else up that I think that we should probably we should talk about this elephant in the room here, which is the Lions' expectations. Is that? I mean, let's
right there is the same old Lions. That's what you're looking at right there. The same old Lions.
Hey, made me think that he's having second guess. Maybe he's having second thoughts on the season.
He had a fluke lucky season last year. That's all I gotta say. So good luck even get back to 8 wins.
You know what I love about you, Tom? What I love about you, John, is like I don't even have to ask you what your take is. It's already over by the time I ask you. Like you've already said it. Like it's like fucking same old Lions. All right, okay, cool. You don't think that we're going to do very well? Anybody else want?
I'm not saying you guys are going to do anything well. You're going to win games, but you guys ain't going to accomplish more.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, John. Both the Vikings and the Lions are going to win 11 games this year. It's going to be whoever has the better division record. That last game, Detroit versus Minnesota, that's going to decide the division. I'm telling you that.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you.
Keep sleeping on the Packers because I guarantee you they're going to sneak up.
I'm snoring on the Packers right now.
John Dorn, the Lions play the Packers twice next year. How many times are the Lions going to beat the Packers next year?
I think I got a split.
You're going to get a split. Okay, John's on record for a split. That's cool. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Go
Hey,
ahead.
John.
I got it splitting with the Bears and the Lions, and we're gonna sweep the Vikings.
Really?
You're gonna sweep the Vikings. I love it. I love it.
Hey, the rocks keep getting bigger with every
Where did Mike go?
Hey, Justin Fields finally about to get his win against the Packers week 1, boy. They about to tear y'all ass up.
I love the take, Jamez, though. Jamez saying that the Lions and the Vikings play in Week 18 in Ford Field for the division. I mean, that's the second. I'm not going to even push back. I'm not going to tease you about it, nothing, because you got the Lions playing for the division in Week 18. I'm going to take it. And I'll tell you what, my vision, though, is the Lions sit Jared Goff in Week 18 because they wrapped up the division 3 weeks ago.
Oh, no.
You want to see Hendon Hooker?
Russell Wayne said today, the Lions are going 6-0 in the division. They're sweeping every division opponent this year.
That's
he's
not happening.
He's not apologizing for it. And he challenges you. Hold on. He challenges you to give him a football reason of why that won't happen. And they can't be because they've never won nothing because of the worst franchise because they haven't won a playoff game since 91. None of that can be the reason. Look at the roster right now and tell me who is going to beat the Lions this year. He predicts they go 6-0. Jamez will let you go first.
And I'm gonna tell you, they might actually have a chance of going 5-1 again. But that game in Minneapolis, that's gonna be the L for sure.
Okay, that's
you
fair.
In this division,
you can throw records. You can throw who's on the roster out the window if you want when it's a divisional game, right? Anything could happen. So I get that. But Russell Wayne's point is when you look at the roster, there's no reason the Lions should lose against these 3 teams. Ken Dobie,
what are you talking about? Our defense holds your fucking offense pretty damn good. It's our offense that's got to get going.
You lost both games.
You lost both games, John.
Barely. You only put 15 points the first game, 20 the second.
John, you lost both games. You got
our offense was shitty. Our offense is going to be twice as bad next year.
John, imagine when he's terrible.
Okay, guys, hold on. Let John finish his terrible take.
Our terrible take? No, we're going to be better on offense already this year than last year. Trust me.
Okay. Without that Hall of Fame quarterback, you're going to be better.
Our defense is going to be better than last year, and we held you to 15 and 20 points. Your offense don't do shit against our fucking defense. Our offense got to get their shit together and make points on when they need to.
You are delusional. Ken Dobie, tell me.
Your defense was right in the fucking league last year. You're about 20th, maybe 20th.
You just got rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback, John. How do you think you're going to be better?
That played like
because you got a defensive end from Iowa?
That played like fucking total garbage last year. How many times do you have thrown 3 fucking interceptions in one game, especially against the Lions?
I don't know how. That's how many Jordan Love's going to throw.
Oh, boy. Boy.
There you go.
Why do you think he's not on a team right now? Why do you think he's not on a team right now? It's time to move on.
That sounded like a big breath, but I really think it was his
quarterback that's going to be taking.
And this right there, this is why anybody is allowed on this show.
Hold up.
I'm trying to get
reel it in. Let's reel it in here.
Give it to me.
I didn't even get to finish my take because I got yelled at. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, that's what we do here, Jeremy. Shut up. Go ahead, Ken.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
Oh, is it my turn to speak? Okay. So here's what I love about the way the NFL is set up this season. If you look at the last 3-4 weeks of the season, a lot of divisional games, a lot of TBDs, right? So Jeremy just come out, so everyone thinks it's you talking while I'm talking. We'll do the ventriloquist thing. So, anywho.
I'll just mute him. So go ahead, Jeremy. Do you feel like I want you to finish your take because I don't want you to feel like you didn't.
Sorry, you're fine. It's already been skipped so long. I forgot what the hell I was talking about.
I didn't even see Ken's lips moving. This is amazing.
This is great. I'm doing a fantastic job at producing. No, I am not. So, all right, we're reeling it in. So go ahead, Mike.
All right. I was trying to get a thought out of Ken Dobie because we still have plenty of time in the show. Ken, go ahead with your take. Challenging, and then we're going to let Jeremy Ballreich have a turn.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So here's what I'm saying. The way the NFL has done the scheduling, we always get to divisionals at the end, but now they're all TBD, right? Which means we're getting a lot of primetime games.
That's not true.
There are 2 TBDs. The Bears have 2 TBDs towards the end.
We have one.
We have 2. We have 2 TBDs. One's against the Browns. The other is a divisional. I believe that's the Packers game. Anywho, the way our division's set, I don't want to. If I'm you guys, I don't want to play a Bears that's starting to come together, become a better team towards the end of the season. They're going to play record for a team that's trying to win the playoffs. I think the Lions are good. I think the Lions are still the Lions, though. So for me, until the Lions can prove they're not the Lions of old, they're still the Lions. Will find a way to screw it up. So I mean, football reason-wise, sure, Goff is could have a regression. Your play calling could go bad.
Thank you.
You can get some injuries, but you're still the Lions. So prove to us, the rest of the NFC North, that you're not the Lions anymore, that you're breaking that
Fair
curve
enough.
and actually win.
That's fair, and that's a good point. And you and my mother are the only ones I know that say anywho. Go ahead, Jeremy. Let's go with your take.
I forgot what the hell I was talking about. It's been too long. Like I said, move on.
No, honestly, when you look at the Lions, man, you gotta use logic with this. With the 8 out of 2 of the last 10 weeks, and you got to just picture the fact that they started 1-6, ended at 9-8, but the team got better damn near in every aspect. Well, I'm gonna say every aspect, but they've got. I would be completely shocked if the Lions don't win at least 11 games this year. They should be at least 2 games. Now, they got a harder schedule. If it weren't for the harder schedule, I'd probably be saying more than that. But at least 11 games, at least 11 wins.
Now there's a smart man. There's a good football mind right there. Unbiased. Thank you, Jamez.
Dan Campbell should have to answer some hard questions.
I have my takes out on it. That's why I just wanted to have everybody have the floor to put their takes on how the Lions are like, give me football reasons on why any of the teams should be able to beat the Lions. And I haven't really heard anything other than
Ken had a couple.
Maybe
Ken Dobie had a couple. If your quarterback regresses,
you could have a quarterback regression, right? Yeah, that is possible. That is a good football reason. So thank you, Ken.
Well, and Russell, look at, there have been times in the past when the Lions should not have lost, and you had a bomb team. You had Stafford the Megatron. You had Barry running over the entire league, and yet inexplicably, you still lost. Why? Because you were the Lions. That's
right.
NFL officiating.
They got to break that mentality that they've had.
We are that until we aren't.
Yeah,
he said break that mentality,
that's
break
fair,
that culture.
That is fair. From the outside perspective, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for an outside perspective on the way our franchise is viewed, because I mean we think it's all sunshine and rainbows in Detroit, right? Everything's our 5th round draft pick's going to be a Hall of Fame or whatever. You know, we're in that boat too. But reality is, how does the rest of the NFL see us, right? And that's how we're the Lions.
Did you have a take on that? Chad, did you have a take on that?
I have a lot of takes because I wasn't allowed to talk because somebody muted me, and when I did talk, it wasn't coming through. I have a lot.
Yeah, we could do that again if you like.
Yeah. See how Lions are? See how? Yeah, absolutely. I have a take. I have multiple. Number one, where I try to talk about the running game. Well, there's no Barry Sanders out there anymore, and there's very few running backs that can make their own lanes. Okay, the Bears and the Packers don't have the old line for running game. And then hang on, now let me finish, because there was a lot I didn't realize I was even muted a while ago. I just figured it out. Probably Mike muted me.
Well, that was a terrible take you just gave us. So come on with the next one.
No, that's what you guys like, right?
We are the home of bad takes, Chad. That's why you're on the show. Now come on with it.
Okay, and as far as the division record, which I didn't get to pipe in on, I do actually see the Lions going 4-2. I do see us losing to Minnesota. I do see us losing to Green Bay. And the reason I see this, even though we're so vastly improved, is because it is a division game. we're going to lose at their home. They're going to be pumped. They're going to have the fans. They're going to have the refs on their side. Like we all know, it happens a little bit. The refs don't control the game either. But if one play makes a difference of you losing and you want to blame the refs, no, there's 5 plays you could have done earlier that could have caused you to win. So like
that's true.
And,
all right,
and what
good
was the
take,
last
Chad.
one again? Hang on, wait, the last one that I didn't get to answer yet. What was? Hang on, don't I get 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead, Chad.
Nice 20
for those takes.
Hey,
We'll give you one chance right now. You ready? Go.
Yep. I had to keep those 3 takes in my mind, and the third take that I was supposed to answer, I forget what it was.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm sorry I was so hard on you. I'm just kidding. I'm not sorry. That's what we do here. You don't bring your thin skin to the open mic night. We talk trash. We hurt your feelings. We trash your team. That's what we do. Okay? So if you want to trash our team, put it in the comments and do it for us. Next topic.
Just don't say same old Lions, because that's my line.
Yeah, that's all you got. Just don't use John Dorn's line of same old Lions or Fields garbage. Those are his patented, copywritten takes that we've given to John Dorn.
You can say Boston Fields, though.
And John, while you're talking, I want to talk to you about this topic. There was a post in one of the groups, I believe it was NFC North, the Huddle, and it was a guy who made a disparaging comment. He was a Packer fan, and he was slamming another Packer fan only because he wasn't from Wisconsin, which blew my mind. Like, as Lions fans, if you live in Los Angeles like Greg Rice, or you live in Los Angeles like Tom Novins and you're a Lions fan, I'm intrigued by that. You could root for any other team in the world. Why would you root for the Lions? So when your fan base has this subculture that is rooted in Wisconsin, and they have animosity towards other Packer fans that are outside of the state of Wisconsin. And I find this dynamic so interesting. And I want to ask you, is this a real thing? And how do you feel about it?
It's real. I'm totally familiar with it. I'm a Lions fan. Look how you treat me, Mike.
And I'm asking John Dorn. This is why you get muted. Don't complain about being muted if you can't follow the rules. John Dorn, question.
What I think about it is that I think it's idiocy if I can say something like that to any fan. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you live in one state and, okay, if I'm from Wisconsin, I'm a Vikings fan. It doesn't fucking matter where you live. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So you don't have any.
Green lives in Utah.
You don't have any disdain for a fan who's a Packer fan but not from Wisconsin.
Well, see, my friend, I got quite a few friends who actually are Viking fans and they're from fucking the area here out in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it is.
You got some friends that are Viking fans.
Yeah, there's plenty of Packer fans that live in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but do the Viking fans feel any disdain for those fans? Are you?
Of course.
Fans are fans, man.
That's understandable. But for somebody to root for your team and you to somehow degrade them because they're not from the same state is just ridiculous.
That's stupid.
Chad, do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, you're right, Mike. You should want your team to grow as much as it possibly can.
Hold up.
Michigan has the same thing. Michigan has the same thing going on. Don't go to UP with your Lions gear on. They're all Packer fans up in the UP. There's a lot of Packer fans also in the state of Michigan, and this is the truth. Okay,
damn, I didn't know that.
There's bar fights up in the UP. Do not go in there.
The air is thinner up there. It's a lack of oxygen.
Damn.
It affects your decision making. I know Ken from the military. You know that, right? Like hypoxia, like disorientation. That's one of the first symptoms, and that's probably why those UP guys are Packer fans.
What about those Lions fans that are from Canada? You know what I mean?
Oh, let's not talk.
That's why we're building a freaking wall. Hang on. No, Joe Biden promised a wall around Canada and Michigan to keep the Canadians away from the Detroit Lions.
You know what's
that-
interesting about
I thought it was just
that
to
was
keep
the
Darcy
take
out.
you've been searching for, Chad.
fan bases are interesting because, like, being
Chad,
military.
was that the take we've been waiting for? That Joe Biden wants to
don't know.
build a wall
Maybe.
to keep Darcy out? That's the take we've been waiting for. All right. Oh,
Keep them Canadians out of Detroit.
oh boy. So now, I'm really glad you mentioned that right there, John Doran and Chad, because now I think I can relate a little bit more to what these Wisconsin people are saying. Because I'm not going to lie, these Canadian guys that are Detroit fans, I do kind of feel some kind of way about it. So I guess I do kind of understand it a little bit more now. As a Bear fan living in Florida, do other Bear fans ridicule you and like degrade you, Ken?
Well, I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I'm just here because the military moved me around. And the interesting thing about being where I'm at now, I got Bears fans, I've got Lions fans, I got Packer fans that live down here. Did
you go to Polk High, Ken?
No, I did not go to Polk High. I went to Wheeling High, the suburbs. But I think the funny thing, though, about what you start us off with is, look at those Packer fans that are mad at Packer fans are from places like where Nick Green is, living in Utah, are just mad because those Packer fans have escaped to live in a better place. That's all that.
Right. Jealousy.
That's a good take, man. Pretty good take.
Yeah.
That is a good take. It's jealousy because they got out of Wisconsin.
That's all it is. And, being military, it's funny because wherever you go in the
Only
military,
real fucking Packer players live in Wisconsin.
There's two things that I'll tell you about being in the Army, that any unit every unit I was ever in the Army had these two things. One, every unit has at least one Puerto Rican dude. I don't know why, but they do. And two, you have fans from every conceivable NFL team, but at least 3 of them are Cowgirls fans, and I don't know why.
Oh, because it's they're the most valuable franchise in the NFL. That star on the helmet is valued at $10 billion.
I thought that was their user rating.
Yeah, that one star on their helmet is actually a rating.
Yeah,
right. I love it.
When you have a place named
and I want to thank our producer Russell Wayne for putting up the Al Bundy graphic as soon as Ken said I was born and raised in Chicago. That was perfect timing.
I actually went to 85 games, saw the Bears. Unlike some of you Lions fans, I've actually seen Barry run live. So,
yeah,
I watched his whole career.
So I got into it with this guy. And right here, if you look in the comments, this is the guy I was talking about, Matthew Lawrence, who seems to have a problem with Packer fans who aren't in Wisconsin. So we're putting him on blast here. For all you Packer fans, look him up and let him know he can stick it where the cheese don't curd on that one. And I got into it with this Rashad guy as he went on to tell me how the Lions have never won anything and they never will win anything. And I told him the law of averages says that he was incorrect, and the law of decorum says that he's a troll. So it was almost the end of that conversation.
Hey,
but we encourage you to go in NFC North, the huddle, go into the main event group, these groups that we're members of, and all of our panels are members of these groups, and we talk smack, and we invite you to do it as well. It has been a fun hour, but we are up against it. I'd like to thank all of our guests on the panel tonight, even John Dorn, for being with us tonight, Chad, Ken Doby, Jamez, and for the producer, Russell Wayne. I'm Main Event Mike saying God bless each and every one of you. Peace out.
Hey,
Go back, go.
Can I have a countdown?
Bear down.